had to go to a colored restroom, had to go in the alleys and knock on a restaurant door and take food out of a back door.
For 73-year-old Hewitt Sawyers, something happened over the weekend he didn't think could. As a native of Franklin, Tennessee, which is about 20 miles south of Nashville, he grew up in the Jim Crow era. And for most of his years, your race is what guided how you move about in the city.
Franklin has been a town where it's been understood that you stay in your place.
Serving as a constant reminder of these societal structures was a 30-foot-tall Confederate statue erected in 1899 by the United Daughters of the Confederacy in the city's town square. Franklin has a black population of 6%. Sawyers says the statue symbolized people like him were not welcome downtown.
And it represented a situation where this was my place, and I didn't want to see that as my place, my plight in Franklin and Williamson County.
On August 12, 2017, Charlottesville, Virginia played host to a white nationalist rally that quickly grew violent and left a woman killed. White supremacists clashed with protesters over concerns the city planned to remove one of its Confederate statues. Around the same time, Pastor Kevin Riggs took part in a prayer visual in response to Charlottesville, and concerns grew that what happened there could happen in the city of Franklin over its own Confederate statue.
So then after the Charlottesville thing, when I spoke, and Chris was there, and he and I briefly spoke just about, what happened in Charlottesville could happen here. So all that was on my mind when I spoke, and so I said something about relocating and removing the statue.
Riggs' comments caught the attention of other pastors in the city, including Chris Williamson and Hewitt Sawyers.
I wanted that monument gone because of the reminder that it gave me. But the Lord moved in a mighty way to change my heart.
After several meetings, the pastors felt God was telling them to do something about the city's Confederate statue. While many cities considered removing statues altogether, the Franklin, Tennessee pastors decided to go in a different direction.
Instead of tearing something down, let's put something up. And that seemed to resonate with us, that this may be a way, this may be a different way to approach this, and something that can bring the community together.
After a month of strategizing, what would be called the Fuller Story Project began to take shape as the pastors sought all the necessary government approvals to erect a monument opposite to the Confederate statue to tell the full story of the Civil War. And this monument would include the role African Americans played in the war. While community support grew for the project, not everyone was on board at first.
Because there were people in the Black community who didn't feel like we were doing enough, that we should have taken the statue down. But as we've always said, we continue to say, that was not our assignment. But if you want to take it down, by all means, no one's stopping you from doing that.
It took the pastors about 4 years to raise $162,000 in donations to pay for the markers and statue to be built by sculptor Joe Frank Howard. At the unveiling on October 23rd,
unveil, march to freedom.
Tears were shed as the moment signified a new era for the city's Black residents.
As for us as Black people, there was a sense of ownership, which we haven't felt in this community, especially downtown on the square, since the city was founded in 1799.
The completed statue depicts a Black Civil War soldier, part of the United States colored troops. There were 200,000 Black soldiers serving the Union Army and Navy. Most of them had been enslaved. They were paid and treated worse than white soldiers during the war.
At first, they didn't understand why he wasn't up on a 30-foot pedestal like the Confederate statue, until we mentioned that we didn't want him up that high. That was intentional on our part. We wanted him among the people. We didn't all take slavery lying down. But that's not the narrative that is told, especially here in the South. So that's why we wanted this man with this gun in his hand. The foot on the tree stump recognizes the fact that the tree of bondage has been cut down.
Let us march on.
Now that the fuller story is on full display, a story that includes the contributions of African Americans and contradicts the idea Confederate soldiers stood tall at the end of the war, as the 30-foot Confederate statue would suggest. 73-year-old Sawyers finally feels at ease coming to the city's town square.
Feel that there was anything downtown for me because of what I had experienced as a child growing up. Now, downtown belongs to me too.
Reporting for Atlanta Black Star, I'm Cavante Smalls.